As I was pulling into my backyard one day, I noticed a pitiful-looking German Shepherd sitting close to my back door. She was very skinny and sick-looking, ribs visible under her thin coat. I got out of my car and took a few steps toward her while talking to her. She watched me with chocolate-colored eyes, sizing me up. I stopped a few feet from her and sat down on the patio chair. My hubby came outside and sat down next to me. "Where did you get the sickly-looking dog?" I asked. "She just showed up about an hour ago. I have no idea where she came from." After a short time, the dog came closer and put her head on my knees. I patted her for a while, and I could feel bumps on her back and sides. I parted her fur and saw old and fresh bruises. "Where did you come from? Who did this to you?" I asked, sniffing back tears. She just looked at me with sadness and trust in her eyes. Hubby went inside and grabbed bowls of food and water. He placed them close to the dog. She started eating while keeping a wary eye on us. When she finished, I invited her in. She wouldn't come inside, so I brought a blanket out and made a temporary bed for her on the patio. The next morning, I made posters with her picture and posted them in the stores and in the post office. Deep down, I wanted to meet the cruel person who abused the sweet dog, and although I wanted to punch them in the face, I knew I would just give them a piece of my mind and I would never give the dog back to them. When nobody called to claim her after 3 days, we named her Lucky, and we took her to the vet. The vet examined her, took some blood, and the next day called us with the results. She's in bad shape, I'm afraid. She has heartworms and Lyme disease. The next day we took the dog to the animal hospital, where she stayed for 3 days, getting antibiotics and infusions. Lucky was very weak when we brought her home, but after a few days she started eating better and better and started playing and gaining weight. We noticed that she was afraid of leather boots, and if we had a stick or broom in our hands, she cowered. My hubby stopped wearing his boots, and we put the brooms in the basement. Lucky seemed healthier and happier with every passing day, although she had some limitations. She couldn't run for more than a few yards without gasping for air, but after sitting and resting for a minute, she felt better. She loved to be close to us when we were outside, but she refused to step into the house, although she did feel safe in the basement when it was raining or thundering. Hubby built a house for her close to the back door and padded the inside with thick carpet. Lucky claimed her new home happily. We tried putting a collar on her, but she became very nervous. We were afraid that she would wander out into the road and get hit by a car, but soon we noticed that she was afraid of the passing cars and never went close to the end of the driveway. But from the backyard, she started visiting the neighbors on our side of the highway. They didn't mind. Moreover, they began looking forward to seeing the sweet dog every day. One morning, I went outside to have my coffee on the patio and found a sweater by the chair. Lucky was lying next to the sweater, wagging her tail happily. I patted her head and asked her, "Where did you get this?" She just looked at me with her big brown eyes. The next day, I found a pair of jeans on the patio, and the following day, some bed sheets and a motorcycle helmet. Her collection pile grew every day, and we didn't know what to do. How can you make a dog understand that stealing is not okay? Hubby scratched his head. We couldn't find a solution, so we just kept hoping she would stop. We got into the habit of going from door to door in the neighborhood with a basket full of stolen goods. We apologized and returned the boots, gloves, screwdrivers, flower pots, toys, and all the other small things she had stolen. The neighbors understood, and they kind of made a game out of coming to our patio looking for their missing items. This went on for about a month. On Thanksgiving morning, I saw Lucky dragging something big and heavy tied in a shopping bag. What now? I thought. I went closer to discover a half-thawed turkey inside the bag. I had an idea where the turkey came from when I saw my neighbor coming up the driveway. "Okay, Lucky, I will draw the line here," she shouted. "You stole my turkey off the patio table." Lucky walked up to her and sat down in front of her. She touched the neighbor's knee with her nose and looked up at her. The neighbor patted the dog on the head and cooed, "Don't you melt my heart with those puppy eyes." She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand and dropped down on her knees. She hugged Lucky and whispered, "Sorry, Lucky. I know you're a good dog. I didn't mean to shout at you." Lucky watched the neighbor walking down the driveway with the turkey, and from that day on, we never had to return stolen goods to our neighbors. It was as if Lucky finally understood that stealing was not okay.